Do you believe you're free? Take a breath and think again. Not the freedom you post about, not the kind you celebrate on holidays. I mean the freedom of your mind, the freedom to sit in silence without reaching for something, anything to distract you. Because real freedom doesn't look the way most people think it does. Let's walk through your day. You wake up. What's the first thing you reach for? Your phone. Your thumb swipes the screen before your eyes even adjust to the light. A quick scroll through social media, a few notifications, maybe a meme, a message, a short video that gives you a microdose of dopamine to kickstart your morning. Then maybe it's coffee, music, a podcast, a TikTok you barely remember 2 minutes later. On your way to work or school, the cycle continues. More content, more noise, more stimulation. And yet, when you finally get a moment of stillness, what happens? You feel it, that quiet discomfort, that strange emptiness rising from the pit of your stomach, a sense of unease that urges you to reach again, to distract, to scroll, to play, to click. We've been trained to run from silence, to escape from even a flicker of discomfort. But why? Here's the truth. No one wants to say out loud. You're not chasing pleasure. You're being conditioned by it. And pleasure, when turned into a constant requirement, becomes a prison. Pleasure at its core is not the problem. It's a brilliant evolutionary mechanism, a system built into our biology to drive survival, to reward actions that keep us alive, eating, bonding, resting. But what happens when this tool becomes the center of our lives? When the pursuit of feeling good at all costs becomes the only compass we follow? We become prisoners to it, locked in an endless cycle of scrolling, watching, eating, buying, searching for the next hit of comfort while our capacity to sit with ourselves erodes completely. Nearly a century ago, Aldous Huxley warned us of this very future. While George Orwell feared a world of control through fear, brutality, surveillance, censorship, Huxley imagined something even more terrifying, a world where no one needs to be controlled because they've been entertained into submission, a world where people would love their servitude, where rebellion wouldn't need to be crushed because it would never be born. And today, look around you. What do you see? We are a society addicted to pleasure, obsessed with entertainment, fleeing discomfort like it's a disease. Every moment of unease is instantly patched over. Feeling bored? Open your phone. Feeling sad? Order something. Feeling insecure? Post something. Feeling overwhelmed? Escape into a series, a snack, a scroll. But what does this constant numbing cost us? Are we truly happy or simply anesthetized? Because here's the painful truth. The most effective form of control doesn't require violence. It doesn't need surveillance or force. It only needs one thing: pleasure. And this is what Huxley laid bare in Brave New World. A dystopia not ruled by fear, but by comfort. A society so overstimulated that no one ever questions anything. Where curiosity dies in the flood of content. Where questions of purpose, meaning, and truth are drowned in a sea of pleasure and distraction. In his fictional world, the drug soma solved everything, any discomfort. Take a gram, any sadness, take a gram. Any existential crisis, take two. There was no need to face suffering, just medicate it, avoid it, ignore it. Now ask yourself, is that really fiction? Look at your own life. When you feel anxiety, do you breathe through it or binge your way out of it? When sadness creeps in, do you process it or mask it? When you're bored, do you create or consume? We live in the age of instant gratification, a time where every emotion can be silenced by a screen, where self-reflection is replaced by notifications, where solitude is feared more than chaos. And the most dangerous part, it feels like freedom. No one is forcing you to do this. No one is holding a gun to your head saying, watch this. No one is demanding you scroll endlessly, order that item, post that selfie, skip that silence. But if it's truly your choice, why is it so hard to stop? That's the question most people are too distracted to ask. The answer lies in conditioning. We've been trained slowly, systematically to avoid discomfort at all costs. Every time you escape into pleasure when faced with even the smallest negative emotion, your brain records that behavior. Over time, it learns that discomfort equals danger, and pleasure equals safety. Eventually, your mind forgets how to exist without a fix. You lose your tolerance for silence, your strength for stillness, your connection to yourself. And without realizing it, you become exactly what Huxley foresaw, a willing servant, not controlled by fear, but by delight. And what's worse, oh, you call it normal. But how did this happen? How did we build a society where distraction is the default setting, where entertainment replaces introspection, where critical thought is drowned out by noise? That's what we'll uncover in the next part. Because once you understand how you were conditioned, you'll begin to see why you're stuck. Mid-segment, call to action. If this video is resonating with you, if something inside you is stirring, hit that subscribe button. Not just to support the channel, but because deep down, you know this isn't just a video, it's a mirror. Closing transition of page 1. Have you ever stopped to ask, why can't I put the phone down? Why does silence make me anxious? Why do I need constant input just to feel okay? It's not a coincidence. It's not a flaw. It's training. From the moment we're born, we are shaped by schools, by media, by systems that don't want thinkers. They want consumers. The school system doesn't teach us to reflect. It teaches us to repeat. The job market doesn't want visionaries. It wants productivity. And the entertainment industry, it doesn't want you awake. It wants you engaged, addicted, passive. This isn't fiction. It's not a conspiracy. It's conditioning. And as Huxley understood far before his time, the ultimate form of slavery is the one you enjoy. In the previous part, we uncovered the invisible trap of a pleasure-driven society. Now let's go deeper into what really happens to your mind, your strength, your freedom, when you've been conditioned to chase comfort at all costs. Every time your phone lights up with a notification, your brain releases a little burst of dopamine. It feels good. It rewards you. You check, scroll, swipe, and your mind is trained over time to associate even the smallest distraction with satisfaction. Each time a short video gives you new information with zero effort, your attention span shortens. Your brain adapts to ease, and you begin to lose the drive to seek answers on your own. You become more passive, more dependent. And every time you're rewarded for conformity, when likes validate your post, when your opinion fits the mainstream, when you do what's expected and are praised for it, it reinforces the belief that comfort equals correctness. That acceptance equals truth. The result, a generation that struggles to sit in silence, a society allergic to boredom, a culture that avoids introspection like it's a threat. We're raising people who can no longer be alone with their own thoughts because their thoughts have never been allowed to deepen. People who panic at the first sign of discomfort because discomfort has always been avoided, not explored. We're becoming collectively mentally fragile. The terrifying part, we don't need dictatorships to silence the masses anymore. Why would you need censorship when people willingly avoid anything that requires effort? Why install thought police when most people have stopped thinking critically on their own? But this rejection of discomfort, this cultural obsession with feeling good, comes at a price. Because when you avoid suffering at all costs, you sacrifice strength. You trade resilience for fragility. You exchange inner power for external pleasure. And this makes you easier to control, because the more you need pleasure to feel okay, the more predictable you become. And that predictability, that's a blueprint for manipulation. You'll chase the next distraction without question. You'll follow the narrative that feels safest. You'll surrender your freedom in exchange for the illusion of ease. But how does this happen? How does a society built on comfort slowly become a prison? Let's imagine for a moment a world without suffering. No sadness, no frustration, no anxiety. Every discomfort erased with a pill, a screen, a click. Sounds like paradise, right? But look closer. What happens to a person who never has to try, who never fails, who never questions, who never grows? They become weak, emotionally unprepared, mentally dependent, easily manipulated. Aldous Huxley saw this with chilling clarity. In Brave New World, he envisioned a society where happiness wasn't earned, it was manufactured. Where pain was not healed, it was medicated. Where purpose was not pursued, it was replaced with shallow pleasures. Enter Soma, the perfect drug. No side effects, no withdrawal, just immediate numbing bliss. But what did this drug really do? It prevented people from ever engaging with their own minds. It erased any discomfort before it could teach them anything. It killed suffering, and in doing so, it killed depth. In Huxley's dystopia, life became an endless loop of sex consumption, entertainment, and distraction. And anything that disrupted that rhythm, anything that required reflection, was seen as dangerous. Now stop. Look around. Are we really that different? We don't have Soma, but we have its digital equivalent. Social media feeding us micro-validation on demand. Dating apps removing risk and rejection. Streaming platforms ready to occupy every moment of silence. Algorithms delivering exactly what we want before we even realize we want it. Everything designed to remove effort, eliminate friction, and drown discomfort in convenience. But what's the cost? Psychological strength. Because here's a truth that many are too distracted to hear. Pain has a purpose. Suffering sharpens you. Frustration builds character. Difficulty teaches endurance. Challenge gives rise to wisdom. When we remove all of that, when we turn away from it, we lose the very tools that help us grow. Today, even the slightest discomfort feels unbearable. Minor problems trigger major emotional reactions. Every no, every delay, every small inconvenience becomes a source of distress. And in this emotional fragility, we become easier to influence. A strong society, one filled with people who can tolerate discomfort, who reflect, who grow, is dangerous to any system built on control. But a society addicted to comfort, a society that seeks entertainment over meaning, that society is obedient, easily pacified, effortlessly controlled. Because the people won't rebel, they'll distract themselves. They won't question, they'll scroll. They won't challenge anything, because to do so would be uncomfortable. And that's how the trap closes. What we're told is freedom, the ability to feel good all the time, is actually the very structure of our psychological prison. But is there a way out? Yes. It begins with understanding one critical distinction. Pleasure is not the same as purpose. Pleasure can enslave you. Purpose can set you free. So let me ask you, what are you really chasing? Is it happiness or meaning? Is it comfort or growth? The answer may feel obvious, but have you really stopped to examine it? Modern culture sells us a lie that happiness is the highest goal, but their version of happiness is hollow, an endless string of cheap thrills, likes, notifications, casual sex, over-processed food, binge-worthy series, impulse shopping, a loop that feeds your emotions and starves your soul. Pleasure feels good, but only for a moment. It fades. It demands to be fed again and again. Now think back to the defining moments of your life. Were they easy? Or were they moments where you struggled, overcame, pushed through? Were they moments of passive pleasure? Or moments of deep meaning born through adversity? Viktor Frankl, Holocaust survivor psychiatrist and author of Man's Search for Meaning, wrote that humans can endure almost anything if they have a purpose. He saw firsthand that meaning, not comfort, is what keeps the soul alive. And here lies the paradox of our time. Pleasure weakens. Purpose strengthens. Pleasure fades. Purpose inures. Pleasure consumes. Purpose builds. But modern society doesn't want you to seek purpose. What? Because purpose takes time. It requires introspection. It asks for discipline. It welcomes discomfort as a teacher. And someone who finds purpose is hard to manipulate. They're not swayed by trends. They're not addicted to validation. They don't need to fill the void because they've learned to walk through it. That's why you're bombarded with stimuli. Because a person with purpose is dangerous to a system built on distraction. So if you've been feeling like something is missing, maybe the answer isn't more pleasure. Maybe it's less. If what you've heard so far has stirred something in you, then you already know the problem isn't the presence of pleasure, it's the absence of purpose. And perhaps the real solution isn't to chase more, but to strip away the excess. Maybe the path forward isn't to keep seeking louder distractions, but to start removing them one by one. And that starts with a simple yet profound question. What truly moves you? What pulls you out of bed in the morning? Not just because you have to, but because you want to. Are you living for fleeting pleasures that vanish as quickly as they come? Or are you slowly, steadily building something that matters? Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people are living off dopamine crumbs. Scrolling, snacking, streaming, repeating. It's not living, it's coping. So how do we break this cycle? How do you reclaim your mind in a world that's engineered to distract you every second, every click, every impulse? Let's be honest, this isn't an easy fight. You're up against a system that wants you to fail, a system designed to hijack your attention, to addict your mind, to keep you emotionally dependent and mentally numbed. But there is a way out, and it begins with a single decision to become aware, to see the game that's being played against you, and to stop playing it. Step one, strategic deprivation, no. This doesn't mean becoming an ascetic or rejecting every form of joy. It means learning to regulate your exposure to addictive stimuli, not to punish yourself, but to reclaim your strength. The issue isn't pleasure itself. The issue is how it's being weaponized to control your behavior, shape your habits, and numb your instincts. So try it. Take a break from social media. Cut out ultra-processed food. Turn off the endless stream of mindless content. At first, your brain will resist. It will beg for stimulation. But if you push through, something beautiful happens. You recalibrate. Your nervous system begins to stabilize. You rediscover joy in the quiet. You feel your capacity for stillness return. And slowly, the grip of artificial stimuli begins to loosen. Step two, rebuild your tolerance for discomfort. In a world obsessed with comfort, this may be the hardest part. You must relearn how to feel bored without panicking, how to sit in silence without seeking escape, how to experience frustration without numbing it. Let discomfort exist because it's not your enemy, it's your teacher. Discomfort doesn't kill you, it makes you resilient. Yes, it's uncomfortable at first. Your dopamine-deprived brain will scream for relief. But if you stay with it, if you resist the urge to distract, you'll notice something powerful. You get stronger. You stop flinching at every inconvenience. You stop running from every hard truth. You start to build the inner stability that no one can manipulate. Step three, cultivate critical thinking. This may sound obvious, but think about it. When was the last time you asked why you do what you do? Why do you feel the need to constantly check your phone? Why is silence so unsettling? Who benefits from your addiction to distraction? What would your life look like if you weren't caught in this endless loop of gratification? These are questions most people never ask because they've been trained not to. But once you start asking, you start waking up. You begin to realize that so much of your behavior wasn't chosen by you. It was programmed by systems, by algorithms, by institutions that thrive on your passivity. Only those who question can start to rewrite their story. Step four, replace pleasure with purpose. This is the real antidote, because once you find your why, everything changes. Start with these questions. What matters to me really? What do I want to leave behind? How do I make my life mean something? These are not easy questions. They're not meant to be, but they are the only questions that matter. And when you begin to live from purpose instead of pleasure, you will notice a shift. Distractions lose their grip. You don't need constant validation. You don't chase noise, you seek meaning. But be warned, the moment you step out of this cycle, the world around you won't know what to do with you. The social rejection of awakening. When you start to unplug, people will notice. Some will admire your clarity. Others will resent it. Because when you free yourself, you become a mirror, a reflection of everything others don't want to admit. You become a living question mark in a world full of answers no one dares challenge. And people will react. Some will mock you. Others will try to pull you back in. They'll say, relax, you're overthinking. They'll insist, it's just entertainment. They'll laugh, come on, don't be so serious. But deep down, they're afraid. Afraid that if you're right, they'll have to change too. And that fear, it makes your freedom dangerous. So expect resistance. Expect loneliness. Expect moments of doubt. Because truth has a cost, and clarity demands courage. The final realization, if you've made it this far, something in you is already changing. You've seen it now. The endless pursuit of pleasure isn't freedom. It's just another form of slavery, one you consent to every time you choose escape over effort. And now the real question is, what will you do with this awareness? Will you turn away, go back to the scroll, chase the next dopamine hit, or will you take your mind back, step into purpose, build something that no algorithm can steal from you? The system doesn't need chains. It only needs your permission. So withdraw that permission. Say no. Say not anymore. Say I'm done being played. Closing prompt to viewers. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever felt trapped in this cycle? When was the moment you realized society uses pleasure to keep you numb? Leave a comment below, because when you speak it, you begin to break it. And if this video opened your eyes, don't stop here. Like, subscribe, share it with someone who needs to wake up. Here we don't follow blindly. We question, we see, we reclaim our minds one layer at a time. So if you're ready for more, subscribe and turn on the notifications. Because this isn't the end, it's just the beginning.